Hey, I want to welcome everybody again to the Speaking Truthfully Podcast, where that's exactly what we do, right? We speak the truth. Okay, so got a very important person in my life for you guys today. One third of the CBS, the Comeback Squad. You feel me? We got Arik in here, aka Brosdale, aka the government dude. You feel me? Um, I met this guy years ago, out of coincidence, playing Madden, and I think, I think at the time, we were both in a, kind of messed up headspace, and it's weird how you meet people and randomly just click. But, anyways, I'm gonna let the dude speak for himself. This guy, I am so appreciative of him. I'm thankful to call him a friend and nonetheless family. So, go ahead, man. Introduce yourself to the people and let them know who you are, man.
Sure. My name is Arik Hayden. I've lived in Bakersfield, California most of my life. Kern County. Moody always gives me shit about this area. And it's rightfully earned, but I've called it home for quite some time. I guess we'll just start how we met. I was in a really dark place, a place I have never been. I was pretty disgruntled with my job of then 6 years, and I just felt like, that it's and now that I'm in management, I get it. I get it, but I still have sympathy for those people who, get passed up for promotion. Now, I'm not above being told, hey, this is not your time, right? But no, they went a step further. Even me now, I barely have time for my staff. I have like a 50 plus team. And for my manager, who she was above everybody, I had a supervisor and then a manager for her to go out of her way to sit me down and say, I don't know what you were thinking by applying. And at that time, I was very naive. The Dale, and for those who don't know, that's my nickname amongst the group is Dale. So I was thinking about that on my way home. I was like, if Moody just said, "Hey, Dale," like only I would know that that's me. So anyway, to be in that position, and then I was very naive. I thought that was constructive criticism, and it wasn't. It was kind of like a petty way to just say, knock it off. Like, what you doing, man? Like, to me, it wasn't necessary. It was unprofessional. But I stuck to my guns and I said, okay, well, then I'll get the next one. But once I started applying outside of the department and stuff, everything started closing in. And at the time, I was trying really hard to buy a house. So that's something that I've been trying for quite some time. I want to say we're going on like maybe 7 years if I'm being generous. But yeah, I've looked and I'm like, but I don't know how to make the finances work. And so it was in this period where I was in the dark place where I kind of learned a lot about what I need to do different. And so at this point in time, I'm in my bed, and that's home. I'm not leaving here. And again, I'm here with my folks, and even they're aware. My family doesn't even know how bad that moment in my life was. That I did not move. I just did it. I really didn't move for anything. And then once I got like hungry, and then okay, now I'm gonna go drive the subway, go get some food, come back. So that was my routine. But that's on the days that I even ate, right? And so the only way I was able to get out of that hole was, the communication I had with yourself and the guy we call Bark. And it was just so random too, because I'm not really a what is it, like a team match kind of person that plays with other people. So just randomly, we're just not, and it's not like I did really good either. It's not like I like wowed everybody. You guys are like, well, at least he has a mic, and then we ended up having so many like great wins, and it's just you think it's silly and it's just a game, but like man, those wins made me feel like no, I still got it. I have a team that counts on me, and sometimes I risk it with no biscuit, but so for people that don't know, I have the record amongst us for the most interceptions in a game, and we're not talking like 5, we're talking 17.
Yeah. And which is why we switched him to head coach instead of offensive coordinator.
Oh my god, so funny. But
Yeah, that's his thing, man. There's a play in almost every playbook in Madden called the level cells, and we call it the level deals because that's the thing, man. The check down to the running back or the corner route to the tight end. But
Oh god.
um, it it all happened. I mean, people like to say all the time that things aren't planned out and shit doesn't happen by design. But I mean, there there's so many situations where shit just lines up so perfectly to where just look at the situation with us, right? So I met a dude who is the other third of the comeback squad, the CBS. You feel me? We call him Stretch Clark. That's his gamer tag. His name's Josh. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight, but I met him again through a random matchup. And at the time, I think he was like 13, 14
Yeah,
years
he
old.
was super young. I
Dude,
felt
he was
so
young, but
uncomfortable talking to him.
exactly. But he knew football. He knew what he was doing, and on top of that, like he was funny, and
One of the best defensive minds I've played with. That's for sure.
but and
He made it look easy. Like it was, oh, it's no big deal. You just did this. I'm like, dude, whatever you want me to do, man.
the hey, and the wins that we got just for him picking certain players on D, like it was insane. So I
we
could.
were peak CBS at this point. So we were like, it was a regular thing. We're playing every night. Dare I say, Madden junkies? Like we're waiting for the next pack open and all this. And I was labbing some new. For those who don't know, labbing means where you practice certain plays over and over again. So I was labbing a new one where, because I love my play action or my bootlegs, as you know, and so this one was a play action into a bootleg. And so if you change one of the routes to like a streak, it's still a corner streak, so it messes up the AI. So without so many words, we were down. I think how many seconds was it? I think it was like 40 seconds. And this team had been like, they kept it so close. They said, "Hey guys, I got to play. Let's try it." And I think it was Bart who ran that route, if I'm not mistaken. And so I snap it. I go into the bootleg. I just toss it. I'm acting confident, but deep down, I'm like, I don't even know if this is gonna work. Catches it, beats the DB, and touchdown. And we won with 40 seconds left.
Hence the name of CBS, the Comeback Squad. So we every game that we won almost it was against really tough opponents, and they knew exactly what they were doing. These weren't like rookies on Madden. They knew exactly what they were doing,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's so hard once you get into a certain bracket of people that play the game like that. Once you level up so much, and once you get in that bracket, you go against people that they cheese the game. They look for everything that they could do to, win. And I'm not mad at it, but at the same time, it doesn't take a real defensive mind or a real football mind at that point to realize what the AIs are doing and all the shit. But the fact that you would come up with the plays and Stretch would come up with the plays on D, and we would be down sometimes by like 3 or 4 touchdowns, bro, and we would always come back because I don't care how much you cheese the game, a real football mind or a real fucking person that knows what the fuck they're doing, like, it's gonna happen, minus, Stretch, aka Mr. Lateral on the fucking 1 yard line. Um,
He was so good. He was very cocky. That's why, because he was so good. And man, that would kill me every time. But you know what? He's bailed me out so many times. You know what I mean? Like I throw an interception, he gets the ball back. Now I have another shot.
yeah,
But I remember a couple games where like we were still new to Madden. I think it was just you and me. And like third quarter, we haven't scored shit, and we were down I think like 3 or 4 scores. You got some stops on defense. I'm like, oh, oh, we're getting touched. And then you like ran one back, and then they all started quitting. We won, and I was like, holy moly.
Yeah, and that's how CBS came to be formed. You know, I played with Stretch probably, I want to say like 3 weeks, maybe a month before I met you, and I knew this kid was hella good on D, and when I played with you in another random fucking duos match, and I was just like, all right, like, I mean, not gonna lie, his offense is a little basic, but he gets the fucking job done. And at the same time, at that time, I was playing defense. I was like, hey, something happens, I'll get the ball back. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I got this kid that is just super amazing on defense. And Dale, regardless how basic his offense is, he gets the job done. I was like, some games. So I pulled them both together, and we started playing every day for years. And like I said, there would be times where we'd be hella down, and either Dale would carry us or Stretch would carry us, or when Dale had made the move from head coach to from offense to head coach, I would carry us, or it was an interchangeable thing, and nobody ever had an ego besides maybe Stretch, like I said, lateraling it on the 1 yard line. There'd be hella times where we were down a touchdown and Stretch was like, "Oh, I know we're gonna win." Lateral it on the one, fumble. But man, those days really got me through so much, and I remember talking to you about that, and you telling me about what you were just talking about, how you were in such a dark place at the time, and yeah, man, like it really got me through so much shit, and to find out that you were going through all that at the same time, like that, it's fucking crazy. And not only that, but like we've been going at it strong for years now. I can't even tell you how many years.
I think it was since 2017, 2016. So we're going on like 5, 6 years.
Yeah, I give it up to both of y'all because
I mean, there were moments where we couldn't stand each other, but that's normal. I mean,
oh, dude, I hated both of you guys for. No, well, you know what it is with me. I never really tripped that much, but it was always something between you and Stretch, bro. It was, and I think it had a lot to do with him being so young.
yeah, yeah.
And people gotta realize how young he actually was. Like I said, he was like 13, 14 when we first met him, and now he's what,
Going to college.
graduating high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in college and shit. And to see
And
that little
kids at home,
bro,
cool with his dad.
yeah, it was
He actually played
just
with his dad a couple times.
right. Yeah, no, his dad's a fucking beast at men too. But you know, him and his, younger self, pissed Dale off a lot, as you can imagine, and let's not be, let's not pass up the fact that, him being that young, it was just weird for both of us, like.
Well, I
But he
will
was,
I will admit, and you'll have it recorded. I rarely take the blame, even though it's my damn fault. See, you got it on tape. You caught me in 4K, Moody.
uh, and that's another point that I wanted to get to. Dale is the reason why me and Stretch came up with the one I don't want to talk about it rule.
I don't want to talk about it.
All three of us, we all had one play that if we said, hey, I don't want to talk about it, nobody could bring it up. And usually that would mean we fucked up so bad that whoever it was talking shit, we tell them. I don't want to talk about it, and they can't bring it up. Anything else is fair game. So if I was, the weak side middle linebacker and a fucking ball went right over my head and I fucking didn't press Y at the right time to fucking catch it, even though it was right there, everybody, Dale and Stretch would be like, "What the fuck, Mooney?" And I'd be like, "I don't want to talk about it," and they'd have to drop it. But if the same shit happened again, or if I dropped a pass, whatever it was fair game after that because you only get one. But I think that's another thing that pushed us to be so good. That's another thing that really melted us together, bro. Like we were really like a fucking football team out there playing a fucking video game.
Yeah,
So
and so to go back to that point, you would think those little victories don't mean anything, but it meant the world to me, at least at that point in time. And so I'm trying to get myself back together. I have always worked. So to not work and to not work for that long, and it's not like, I wasn't trying. I was literally applying and I just wasn't getting interviews, or I would get interviews, but, never mind. So it's not like I was even being picky after a certain point. I made decent money, not great money, but after a while, I just gave it up. I said, all right, I got to settle for minimum wage now. So that was like a year and a half at that point. I still went another year like that. And so I ended up working at the county. That's why you guys call me the government dude. So by the way, the name Brosdale. So we have a place called Rosedale Highway here in Bakersfield, and that's where we know all the bros to hang out and congregate. And so I was dating a chick, and I asked her where you live. She said, "Oh, in Brosdale, right?" And so it just stuck in my head. And then I was watching like a retrospective Twitter account. This guy was so excited that Johnny Manziel got drafted to the Browns, and it said the governor of Ohio. And I said, what if I was the governor of Brosdale? And the name just stuck. It just made sense. And so one of the jokes Bark used to always say is, "Oh, the government dude," or this and that. And it's funny you should mention that. I actually work for the government. And we get so scared.
especially my ass with my fucking past, I was like, "Wait, hold up, what? You did what?" let me
And,
not be no more.
and just for the record, I worked in behavioral health, so nothing that involves any kind of investigation of anything. But yeah, no, I had Madden with you guys, and that workplace was very supportive. Of course, I mean, I don't want to say of course because there probably are behavioral health clinics that aren't like that, but this whole group, man, they were all supportive. They're not stingy with compliments. And I think a lot of that is because they're in a position where you have to have your postgraduate, you have to have your license. They ain't afraid of me coming for them. And if anything, they would be proud if I did because they know how hard it is to get to that level. So it's a different work environment, especially when it's government. You're dealing with people who this is their life's passion, right? That's very infectious to be around. Not to say they don't get chippy or all this, they're human, but overall, I mean, I'm very grateful for those two supervisors I had. They taught me how to be a supervisor myself, and I've used that with my team to great success. There's always that micromanager. We hate that. I don't know anybody that likes it. You kind of excuse it because typically the micromanager is someone who cares too deeply, but I still never seen it work. I found that just you put more scrutiny on the hiring. You look at the resume, the interview, and you should say no more than you say yes. And then once you get someone in, all right, let me let you do your thing, because I already